I mean, I could have gone. I could have said that. I was thinking about saying that. I was like, anything. You guys will pass anything out of that committee. I don't want to go there.
Are we live?
We are.
Okay.
Are we
Good
streaming?
afternoon.
Oh, I was wishing we're not streaming.
Okay.
It's
We're live.
Okay, Malcolm. Thank you
And
for that
Senator
that
Hester,
question
Senator
that was on.
Washington. We have a quorum. Welcome. Today is January 15th, 2025, whatever date this is. Welcome to this afternoon's hearings for the Education, Energy, and the Environment and Elections Committee. We have two bills on our agenda today. They are both from the chair. And so, Senator Feldman, when you are ready, you may begin your
Thank
testimony.
you, Madam Vice Chair. I think that we're going to start with Senate Bill 109, and I think this could be one of the easier bills we have this session. I think it will be. And so under our current public ethics laws and state ethics commission regulations, local governments have a requirement to submit an annual certification to the commission that they're in compliance with our ethics laws and commission regulations. And fortunately for this committee, we have a superstar committee analyst in Stacy Goodman. And during the interim, she identified a loophole within those laws and regulations that SB 109 fixes. So currently, these requirements I mentioned about local governments, et cetera, currently our county boards of education are not required for no particular reason to submit to the State Ethics Commission an annual certification that the local boards are in fact in compliance with the public ethics laws and commissioning regulations. That certification document is in front of you. This is what it's envisioned will be required as a result of this bill. You can see it's very, very simple. And so again, all SB 109 does is it adds local school boards to the requirement already in place for local governments, closing this loophole and providing more transparency. And again, all we're talking about this very simple document that the local education the local boards will have to comply with. So with that, that is the bill. There are no amendments, and I would ask the committee for favorable on SB 109. And Stacy, who identified this loophole, might assist with any questions.
Ms. Goodman, anything you want to add? Okay. And Mr. Chair, this would be transparent and publicly accessible in the same way that similar documents are.
Correct.
For the general public.
Right.
Senator Carrozza?
Madam Vice Chair, thank you, Mr. Chair, for presenting the bill. And it's just, and I support the bill. My question is, does that mean, so every individual member of an elected Board of Education would be required to fill this out, or?
Yeah, the answer is no, but Stacy, why don't you, if you want to.
It's just the County Board of Education has to certify to the commission.
Oh, so just the county for the, okay, thank you.
So
Thank
right
you
now
for
they
the
don't have to
clarification.
Yeah, so it's just the county, the Board of Education, one document.
Are there any other questions from the committee? Seeing none, that completes the hearing on Senate Bill 109. Next up is Senate Bill 251, which is Maryland Public Ethics Laws, Training and Financial Disclosure Requirement Revisions. Senator Feldman, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
so this bill is coming at the request of our Ethics Commission. So we'll bring up our witness who can identify herself, and she will present the bill on behalf of the State Ethics Commission.
Thank you. Welcome to EEE.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, Chair Feldman, Vice Chair Kagan, members of the committee. My name is Jennifer Algar. I am the Executive Director of the Maryland State Ethics Commission. Senate Bill 251 is departmental legislation requested by the State Ethics Commission. This legislation will not have any fiscal impact on the agency, and also the small operational impact can be absorbed with existing agency resources, so there's no cost to the state on this one. As many of you know, the State Ethics Commission is responsible for providing mandatory ethics training to state elected officials of the executive branch, to state employees who are required to file financial disclosure statements, to some other identified public officials, and to registered lobbyists. This proposed departmental legislation removes the current 2-hour requirement language from the training provision and recognizes that this mandatory training can be provided either online through our electronic training system that is already in place, or through live in-person or live virtual trainings. And that way, the commission can efficiently reach all of these folks that are required to have this training. And it gives us more flexibility in the duration. We can be a little bit more efficient. Don't need that 2 hours when it's just you sitting in front of your computer doing the training. And it also gives the commission a little more flexibility in the way in which that training is provided. This proposed legislation also clarifies that all sources of compensated employment should be disclosed on required financial disclosure statements. This, the current statutory language is salaried employment, and sometimes folks tend to limit their disclosure because they say, oh, I'm not salary, I'm paid hourly or whatever it is. So this legislation would propose to change salaried employment to compensated employment. So it can be a little bit more clear, catch more disclosure, and encourage transparency there and promote that transparency. And then finally, this legislation corrects a statutory reference in the gift provision. That's just something that's been hanging around for a while. So the State Ethics Commission thanks the committee for its consideration, and we seek a favorable report, and I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you so much. Just Clara, your name was Jennifer Algier?
Jennifer Algier, yes.
Alger, okay.
Yes.
How long have you been with us?
I've been with the State Ethics Commission 23 and a half years,
You have not. How long have you been director?
since 2020,
Nice, okay.
June of 2020.
Is it a
Try to hide.
colleague Is it a colleague of yours who's sitting
This
behind
is-
you?
Yes, this is Kate Thompson. Kate is our staff counsel. She may help some of you with your financial disclosure filings
Excellent.
if you call, so.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you both for what you do. I see that Senator Carrozza has a question.
Vice Chair, thank you for the presentation. I support the bill. Just my one question is, the training, does that include when we are required to meet with Dia Daly? And is that, and I actually prefer to do that in
Right.
person. Is that part of this, and or is that kind of separate from the training that's mentioned in this bill?
That is a requirement. The annual meetings is a requirement for members of the General Assembly. The state elected officials of the executive branch have a mandatory 2-hour ethics training. At this time, we're working on developing an online electronic training system for the elected state officials. This last go-around, this was a new requirement, and beginning in January 2023 for the incoming elected officials of the executive branch. So Kate and I actually met with all 100 elected executive branch officials in the state. That covers the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, comptroller, state treasurer, and then all of the sheriffs, registers of wills, clerks of the court, and state's attorneys in all the counties across the state. So we accomplished that by either meeting them in person or having virtual live trainings, coordinated with some of the associations and different groups. So it's different than yours. I guess we're just doing it by
I understand, and I
electronic.
certainly understand with the virtual option, the efficiency. Is there an option for in-person or not?
I think if someone would request that and prefer that, we could do that
opposed
for
to the
them and
virtual.
accommodate them. But we did want to get that training module out and available for the elected officials across the state.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Senator Carrozza, Senator Augustine.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming forward. You remove the hours from it, but the hours, I guess where I'm kind of thinking about is sort of like the hours, even though it's not specific in the law, it sort of implies like that it's going to be 2 hours worth of material.
Right.
And now we've removed that. We're removing that, and so you could, I'm not saying you would do this, but you could just do something that's like 30 seconds based on if we left it this way. And I don't think that's your intention.
No.
I know it's not, but can you help me understand, like, sort of like, it was more of an implication, like it's going to be 2 hours worth of material
Right.
versus being no definition sort of in the law as it pertains to what this training would include, unless I'm missing it in somewhere else.
Right. No, thank you for your question, Senator. I think the best way to explain this is when the training provision went into effect, and that predated when I came to work for the commission. The way the commission was accomplishing this training was setting up large trainings in auditoriums. They went, go down to the State Center in Baltimore. We got the Joint Committee training room, and we would go around and get 100, 150 state employees or whatever to come to those trainings. So we blocked out this 2-hour time and did all of the training and took built-in time for questions in that 2-hour block of time. So now we've become a little bit more efficient with the online training module that we've developed. The content is still the same. They still, our trainings cover all of the conflicts of interest, all of the financial disclosure, a little bit about the State Ethics Commission and the other provisions and programs that we administer. So the content hasn't changed, but we wanted to remove that 2 hours because the online training module, which covers all of those things, if it's just you sitting there going through that, it's going to take about an hour and a half. When we go out and do the various, we still do some in-person trainings, or we do live virtual online trainings. Usually we still book those out for 2 hours, but if there's only 10 people in the training, we're able to move through that fairly efficiently rather than when it came into effect and we were using these big auditoriums and blocking out 2 hours. So I understand your concern. I think keeping the language of the training has to be provided by the staff of the State Ethics Commission preserves the integrity of the content and the duration, because it's our staff in our office that's running that and not allowing other agencies to check a box and say we did ethics training and it was only 30 minutes, and that should satisfy it. Thank you.
Senator Augustine, does that satisfy your concern, or do you feel like the council should consider an amendment, a clarifying amendment?
I was trying to not be too, I would think, or maybe it's just a better understanding of what the training is and the appropriateness of having things in statute or not. It just felt like, the 2 hours was a little bit of a guardrail of saying, okay, it's just like a certain amount that was there.
Right.
That we are now removing. And so it was just something I think for us to at least think through a little bit.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Senator Augustine. I see no other questions. Senator Mano, are you here to testify on this bill? No, ma'am. Okay, all right. With that, that completes the hearing for Senate Bill 251. Thank you. And that completes the committee's bill hearings for the day. I wonder if the committee is comfortable, whether you might feel ready to move Senate Bill 109 to the floor. And this was just for our school boards, just filing their ethics thing. What is the will of the committee? We good? I'm seeing some nodding.
It would put us in
Can
the
we have a
goldenrod competition.
We want to be in the game here for, okay, move favorable by Senator Washington, second by Senator Brooks. Do we want to have a roll call? Are we good? Can we say all those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Senator Gallion, let's just note that he's not here, but since he wouldn't make the difference if he wants to cast a vote another time, that we would include him in the voting list. And with that, Senate Bill 109 is approved, and we'll head to the floor, and maybe we'll win the prize of near the beginning. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Senator Feldman, Mr. Chair, and that, go ahead.
And that concludes our work for today. Thanks for everybody coming in.